fastest rescission of the Cole memo will not impact Colorado's legal cannabis industry. Furthermore, President Trump has assured me that he will support a federalism-based legislative solution to fix the states' rights issue once and for all. Gardner added that he would lift his remaining holds on DOJ nominees and said he hopes to pass legislation to address the conflict between the state and federal cannabis laws. Gardner said, "My colleagues and I are continuing to work diligently on bipartisan legislative solutions that can pass Congress and head to the president's desk to deliver on his campaign promise." Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports a powerful spring storm pummeled the U.S. Midwest and plains on Saturday with blizzard conditions and high winds, while tornadoes and thunderstorms menaced some of the South. Minnesota, Nebraska, Iowa, and South Dakota were under warnings for blizzard-like conditions. The city of St. Paul, Minnesota declared a snow emergency. Forecasters were expecting more than a foot of snow in parts of Michigan, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. The National Weather Service said wind gusts around Duluth, Minnesota had exceeded 50 miles per hour. As the storm pushed into Saturday evening, authorities warned that severe thunderstorms could bring gusting winds, flooding, and hail. Severe weather warnings extended from Texas to central Alabama, which was under a tornado watch. At least one tornado was reported near Jackson, Mississippi on Saturday. Freezing rain and ice storms were expected to move into northern New England through Monday. On Friday, the system produced 17 reports of tornadoes in Arkansas, Louisiana, Missouri, and Texas. 4 people were injured and 160 buildings damaged in a possible tornado in northwest Arkansas. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
McDonald's is now offering bereavement prices, and a sexual predator gets tenure. This is the Onion Week in Review. This Wednesday, Samsung announced the release of its brand new really big television. Representatives for the South Korean electronics manufacturer told reporters at a press conference that the gargantuan of an electronics product boasted a variety of new features, including being super heavy and having a screen that was probably 100 inches wide for all they knew.
We here at Samsung think this new product will appeal to today's consumers who are looking for a television that's really huge. I mean, this thing is built like a Mack truck. You just really have to see it to believe it.
In other news, an important decision is sent up to the company's highest idiot. And an area mother doesn't see why Thai people need to make food so spicy. Today's Onion Review was sponsored by Bamboo Garden, voted the best family-owned Chinese restaurant in Idaho for 5 years running.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live. It's the live Sunday edition of Free Talk Live, and it's Mark with you.
Johnny Ray.
And Darryl.
You can call in. You can talk about whatever you want here on Free Talk Live. It is, after all, Free Talk Live, so if you're hearing us between 7 p. and 10 p. Eastern Time, or what did we decide that was, Darryl? 2300 to 0200 hours Zulu time?
Hold on, give me a second, because I actually keep UTC as one of the times on my phone. It is currently just after midnight UTC.
Okay, so it's 00. 100, yeah, 100 hours Zulu. There you go, to 300 hours Zulu. Anyway, whatever it might be, between 7 p. and 10 p. Eastern Time, we're live, and you can call us and talk about whatever's on your mind. And besides Trump bombing Syria, there's a few other stories out there, too. We pretty much exhausted that. If you want to call in and talk about it, you've got some other angle, you're welcome to. The number's 855-450-3733. The username on Skype, and you'll sound great in there, is lrn.fm. The good folks in the Discord can call in some manner or another. Good luck to them, because I have no idea how to answer it. I'm sure Darryl will tell me. And, yeah, there you go. So we do have a story. Apparently, a couple of guys tried to use the potty at Starbucks and then got arrested.
I still don't know exactly what happened.
I don't think we're going to.
I do know that they got arrested. Headline from the Washington Post is 2 black men were arrested waiting at a Starbucks. Now the company and police are on the defensive. Story begins. Starbucks, which once asked baristas to start a conversation about race with customers, faces fierce criticism after two black men were arrested at a Philadelphia store, sparking accusations of racial profiling over what the company's CEO now calls a reprehensible incident. So I'm not familiar. I want to pause here because both of you commented on the initial thing about the conversation about race. I don't remember that ever being a Starbucks thing, but I also don't shop at Starbucks.
They printed some messages either inside their disposable cups or on the bottom or something meant to spark conversations about race. Yeah. I don't remember what any of the statements were.
Don't you remember when Barack Obama said that we need to, as a nation, have a conversation around race?
But Barack Obama, as best as I can tell, is not any employee of Starbucks ordering people to, at Starbucks, have conversations about race.
Well, all they were doing was listening. All they were doing, our dear leader has said to have conversations about race. Let's have some conversations about race. Turns out it's almost universally a bad idea to have a conversation about race.
Continuing on, in a statement, CEO Kevin Johnson offered, quote, our deepest apologies, end quote, on Saturday to the two men who were taken out of the store in handcuffs by at least 6 officers on Thursday.
Seems like a lot of people to take a couple of guys out of Starbucks, but all right.
Yeah. A store manager had asked the two men to leave after they attempted to use the bathroom but had not yet made any purchase. The men said
and by not yet made any purchase means they hadn't made a purchase.
Right.
Yeah. And I can see both sides of this. If I walked into a Starbucks and I got to go to the bathroom and
I got to go to the bathroom, I'll be right back to buy my latte.
Right. There's 5 people lined up, maybe, and I don't want to take my latte into the bathroom. I want to use the bathroom and then get my latte.
Right.
I mean, to me, that's the order of operations. I can also see that certain businesses in certain locations are probably going to have a lot of foot traffic of people who want to simply use the bathroom and leave. And those people that want to use the bathroom and leave, generally leave a bathroom in pretty bad condition. Like, or at least they're more likely to leave a bathroom in pretty bad condition, I guess is the way I'd like to phrase that.
Let me ask this question.
You generally don't go in and come out leaving it better than you left it, than you found it.
Most people don't.
But that's the price that an owner of a business would pay for paying customers. But
sure.
If you're coming in and going out and you're just taking away and you're not adding anything in the form of your business, then there's no reason for him to want you to be in there.
And Mark, as someone who has previously worked as a janitor, and Johnny, who I believe still does, we can both tell you
I've done some janitor
paying customers generally don't wind up cleaning up after themselves either.
I understand that, but hobos, and that's the people I'm really talking about here, right? Folks that don't have jobs, don't want jobs, not big customers of Starbucks, are...
Well, we don't know if these two individuals were hobos.
I didn't claim they were hobos. I claim that hobos exist. And because they exist, and because they make a bigger mess in a bathroom, that at least this is the general consensus, right? Like, that doesn't make it right. And certainly not all hobos. Not all hobos, right? But yeah, as a business owner, if you're not going to buy anything, I definitely don't want you in my bathroom. And if you are disheveled and, messy and all that other stuff, and you're not going to buy anything, I really, really don't want you in my bathroom. And, if I'm the Starbucks employee that has to do the cleaning, yeah, I feel the same way. Also, they probably have a policy that, hey, try to keep the hobos out of the bathroom.
Right.
And so the Starbucks employee, while making your latte, while ringing you up, and while doing all the things that they're doing, are trying to keep a second eye on the bathroom. In the process, they see a couple of guys go in, and how do you handle that? I don't precisely know. Having myself use the bathroom at business establishments without buying something, and in other cases, buying something because I feel sort of obligated to, I live in this netherworld. I don't know what to do exactly or how to do it. I don't want to make my purchase and go into the bathroom, and I don't particularly want to make a purchase if I just wanted to use the bathroom.
Right.
I try to leave the bathroom in better condition than I came, but they're not going to assume that I did that, and they shouldn't.
So in this situation, what happened is the manager called 911.
Well, yeah, like after asking them to leave, and they didn't.
Story doesn't mention whether he asked them to leave.
Okay.
Story just says they used the bathroom, had not yet made a purchase. Manager called 911. Their attorney says that they were waiting for a friend. Again, we don't know if they were going to make a purchase after using the bathroom and then wait on a friend while drinking their latte frappuccino.
Right, and I've gone into Starbucks and other coffee shops, and I've sat, used a chair, and waited for somebody to come.
Yes.
Then when they came, I got up, I made an order with them, and we enjoyed our warm, beverage.
The police confrontation was captured on a video that has been viewed more than 8 million times on social media, fueling a backlash and drawing responses from the city's police commissioner and mayor. Mayor Jim Kenney said, "I'm heartbroken to see Philadelphia in the headlines for an incident that, at least based on what we know at this point, appears to exemplify what racial discrimination looks like in 2018. The two men were...
Which beats fire hoses and dogs, by the way.
CNN says the Starbucks employees asked the man to leave.
Yeah. And, I can see why somebody would be of the opinion, whoa, what are you talking about? Leave. I'm waiting for a friend. Don't you want me here to spend some money at your business? And apparently the answer to that was no. You look too much like a hobo or whatever.
Right. And well, then there's the question of, were they waiting on the friend before ordering, or were they waiting on a friend and just using Starbucks as a convenient location?
Yeah, there's also that, right? They could be just a meeting up there to leave to go to the coffee shop across the street.
Right. The two men were taken to a police station where they were fingerprinted and photographed, according to their attorney, Lauren Wimmer. Her clients, who declined to be identified, were released 8 hours later because the district attorney found no evidence of a crime, adding that the Starbucks manager was a white man.
Okay. Well, again, it's hard to draw conclusions just from words on paper.
Right.
And I did get some of the audio from this, and I can see how people would come to the different conclusions that they've come to, and it's difficult. If this is what if this is what racial discrimination looks like, it's going to be really difficult for people to determine one way or the other, because I think I'm fair on this. I believe, just like everybody else, I believe that I can see whether or not racial discrimination is occurring. Whether I can or not is certainly up for debate, but it makes it difficult. Have you seen this video? Do you have your thoughts? The number's 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE. The username is lrn.fm on Skype. You can use our Discord too. 855-450-FREE, Free Talk Live.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com. If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Anyone can publish on the internet, but not everyone is publishing material suited for online reading. According to the Yahoo Style Guide, it cautions that internet content has a few seconds, 3 or less, to encourage people to read more, to take action, or navigate to another one of your pages. So make it easy for readers to pick and choose. Isn't that the way you poke around online? Use short words, short sentences, short paragraphs, bulleted lists, and short pages. Front load what you write, putting the most important information at the beginning of headlines and paragraphs and sentences. Same goes for your keywords, what someone would likely type into the search box on Yahoo or Google. For more tips on communicating better online or in a job interview or everyday life, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in. Talk about whatever you want. We've been talking about this situation with these black fellas that were arrested in Philadelphia for sitting at Starbucks, best I can tell. And the state of race in America, I guess, is what what's the intention here to figure out. I'm not entirely sure, but, well.
I don't think it's a story in any way about police misconduct based on what I've seen of the arrest.
I think I've got a comment on that. Let me first tell you about Liberty.menu. For years, libertarians of all stripes have wanted a directory of liberty-minded businesses, and we're helping to build one. It's Liberty.menu. It's a tool for your community. At its core, it's a directory for events, businesses, and digital content. Listings can be rated and reviewed, and there's a bit of social networking aspects so that you can connect with and share with others. Use of Liberty.menu is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and for those that agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. Check it out. You can list your business. You can find out about businesses. Put your voluntarist ideas into action at liberty.menu and use code FTL to get a special badge. It's liberty.menu. So I guess my thought on that, Jonny Ray, is that police are sort of billed in our mind as these automatons, the security agency that we all employ, this public security agency. But to some extent, they play a role as arbiter in this inside the community. Whether they should or shouldn't, I can say that they do. So one time I had a storage locker burgled, and I managed to figure out who did it. The police came and made sure I got my stuff from these people, but they didn't arrest them or do anything else. So they acted more as an arbitrator and judge in the circumstance than they did as law enforcement. If they wanted to do arrest or whatever it was that they did, they could have done that. But they chose not to. They just got me my stuff, and basically that was the end of the story.
I see. So it's sort of an unwritten task that they have, and in this case, maybe they could have done a little more to settle things between Starbucks and the young men.
I think that's it. Now, I would say that the police, their job is to provide security, and when a Starbucks manager says, I want these people out of here,
they're trespassing.
Then they've just become trespassers when they refuse to leave, and it doesn't matter why, right? Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter if it's the color of your skin or that you're covered in dog hair or whatever the reason is. You're a hobo. Whatever the reason is.
Mayonnaise on your French fries, and we don't like that around here.
I don't think they have French fries at Starbucks, but I can see why you'd want to throw somebody out. Who did that? Just potato salad.
They just brought in French fries from another business, and Starbucks doesn't like that either.
I bet they certainly wouldn't like that. But ultimately, mayonnaise on French fries is just potato salad.
Yeah, I guess.
Yep.
And I don't like potato salad because mayonnaise is disgusting.
You're from Birmingham, Alabama, and you don't like potato salad.
Mayonnaise is... I'm also a white man. Mayonnaise is disgusting.
All right, whatever. So, going on, leaving that weirdness behind, so I can see the police are in a pickle.
Wait, is mayonnaise disgusting despite the fact that you're a white man or because you're a white man?
No. So, generally, white people like mayonnaise.
Right.
I'm just pointing out that I'm not the stereotypical white man.
Got it.
Yeah, generally, white people eat vegetables, and Darryl won't touch them. So,
touche.
This Starbucks that is really the one that's sort of in the crosshairs here, and I think ultimately this is an uncomfortable situation that could be interpreted. I think that you can't extract race from this. I watched the video. These gentlemen are not dressed like hobos. They don't appear to be that, to my mind. And that leaves one with, well, exactly why are they being kicked out?
Right. So speaking of the video, you do hear somebody ask, why are they being asked to leave?
Yeah.
That man is Andrew Yaffe, who, according to the lawyer for the two men that were arrested, is the man that these two were supposed to meet.
Yep.
Andrew Yaffe runs a real estate development firm.
He looked like a white guy from what I could tell in the video, but these days, who knows what anyone self-identifies as.
Right. Well, Andrew Yaffe was not one of the men that was arrested.
No, but he was coming to meet the men that were arrested.
He then asked, does anybody else here think this is ridiculous? And someone said, it's absolute discrimination. Someone else responds, they didn't do anything. The two men appear to explain that they are there to meet Yaffe. They remain seated and calmly speak with the police. An officer begins to clear chairs out of the way in an apparent anticipation of an arrest. The officer then says, they're not free to leave. We're done with that. We asked them to leave the first time.
Seems pretty quick.
You need to leave. We're here to meet somebody. All right. Well, we already asked. Now you're getting arrested.
Okay.
And as the meme goes, well, that escalated rather quickly.
Yeah.
And the guy that they're there to meet is like, hey, I'm the guy meeting these two. Why are you here? Well, because they were asked to leave and they didn't. They said they're meeting somebody. Yeah, they're meeting me.
I think in a, that there are certain circumstances where a law enforcement officer can be expected to give one order. And that there are other circumstances where maybe they need to give it 3 or 4 or 5 times in order to get compliance.
Right.
And were the people of Philadelphia well served by these gentlemen being arrested and then released with no charges? I'd say no. I'd say it was a waste of 6 law enforcement officers' time who could have been doing other things to make the world a bit safer instead of whatever this was. But, again, the other side of this is if I had some kind of condition where I could reasonably presume that if I exploit this condition, I can get free things, lots of free things, then I might, like people react based on incentives, I might exploit that condition in order to get those things. If all I had to do was walk into a restaurant and say, I'm a volunteer firefighter, and I would get a free thing off the menu, I would probably do that. As a matter of fact, I can tell you, when I go to hotels, they often have a discount for firefighters, and I ask for it. So there you have me using an aspect of me, a portion of me, to get a discount.
Yep.
And
that's your firefighter privilege.
Right. I'm exploiting my firefighter privilege. If I could, if the way to get the free thing was to just use the bathroom first and then see whether or not I got in any trouble, and then if so, exploit my race for it. Yep. Some people are going to do that. I'm not saying these guys are doing that, and it doesn't look like they were. But somebody will. And how do you react to that? How does a business deal with this stuff? Because you can't have somebody on duty on your bathrooms constantly. It just there isn't a profit margin enough for that. So you don't want your customers going into the gross bathroom that the hobo just left, because that could be bad. And I think it's just unfortunate.
Well, what a lot of places do is they have a key that you have to ask the cashier for.
Yep.
That's one way to police bathroom use.
Yeah, it is. It's I can tell you people don't like it much. I wouldn't want to have to do that with the Starbucks. If I went in, I want to be able to use the bathroom at the Starbucks before I make my order. And it's going to make me angry. So anyway, what are your thoughts? 855-450-FREE, Free Talk Live.
You have been lied to, generation after generation, time after time after time.
If you follow the money, then you understand why America's in the condition it's in.
You created the Federal Reserve in 1913 through lies. You create 9/11. Through 9/11, then you're fighting a war on terror, and now all of a sudden you go into Iraq, which was another lie.
This book will open people's eyes. Pre-order now at KillingUncleSamBook.com. KillingUncleSamBook.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Free Talk Live.
My law is proposed is this. You cannot say how a movie ends before it has gone through its HBO run. This is punishable by death because I am so sick and tired of people spoiling movies for me that I think we should hang them.
Maybe like movies is a capital crime and books is like a ticket.
Violation.
Yeah, no, I'm with that. Misdemeanor for a book. I'm with that. I'll let you slide on that one. Okay.
I don't actually have a
movie.
But on Netflix, they just put them all out there all at once, so it encourages more binge watching.
Right.
And it's just a kind of a different way to release things. So how do you deal with that with your proposed law, Dan?
Look, I'm American. I don't think about laws before I propose them.
So we gotta pass it to find out what's in it? Let the Supreme Court interpret it?
Exactly.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. We're talking about these gentlemen in Philadelphia who were arrested for sitting in a Starbucks, apparently. Refusing to leave, I guess, is the shtick there. So you can call in and talk about that. The number's 855-450-3733. I want to tell you about Save It Purse. Save It Purse is an interface between you and other people who have Bitcoin. And I don't know, are they doing other cryptocurrencies, Darryl? Do you know?
You can use Shapeshift to wind up doing other cryptos, but I am not aware if they're actually directly accepting other cryptos.
Okay. So, yeah, check it out, saveitpurse.com. We've saved, a great deal at our house using saveitpurse.com. You can save, I think, a good number to sort of ballpark it at is 20%. So, a little more work. It's a little more work to use Save It Purse, but it's nice to save 20%. It's hard to save money on things at Amazon. Amazon sells convenience.
Right. And, well, it's fairly convenient to use Purse now as well because you no longer have to put things in an Amazon wish list and import that. You can just add things to your shopping cart directly through the Purse website and then select the discount that you want.
That does sound convenient.
Yes.
SaveAtPurse.com.
Which reminds me, I need to add some KT tape to my Save It
What
Purse.
is that?
Kinesiology tape.
Oh, it's that magic tape that's supposed to make you better, but really there's no evidence that it does, right? Like athletically?
Or like magnets?
No, it's not magnets. It's
tape. Yeah.
Athletic tape?
It's athletic tape.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you've got...
it's a nice hair removal system.
I don't have very hairy legs
I don't really
anyway,
want to talk about your body
but I shave my left leg before putting the KT tape on.
Okay.
So I was dealing with some tendinitis and used the KT tape, and after a week or so, the tendinitis seemed to have gone away.
Yeah, it immobilizes your joints a little bit.
For like the 2 weeks that I did nothing, which is what doctors recommend to deal with tendinitis, I was still having the tendinitis pains.
That's pretty powerful. I mean, as no one can tell you it doesn't work. If you tried it for 2 weeks to do nothing and then you tried 1 week and it worked, I'm sorry. Anybody else could take a long walk off a short bridge. I'm going to use this tape.
Again, I'm not saying that, it's any kind of medical something. I'm saying my experience is it seemed to help.
Yeah. They've, there you go. You can get this KT tape or anything else through saveitpurse.com.
Yes.
Darryl, let's move on. Apparently, I can smoke, drink, and eat without any repercussions.
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
The headline from Forbes is that alcohol, obesity, and smoking do not cost the healthcare systems money.
Okay.
You would still personally have repercussions from being drunk, fat, and cancerous in your lungs, possibly. But as far as the actual cost to the healthcare systems, and then I just noticed that this article is actually several years old, but it might still be, as accurate with the facts here. It says it's common enough argument around the world at the moment that various unhealthy behaviors increase the cost to the healthcare systems. Thus, those unhealthy behaviors should be taxed more heavily so as to pay for the cost of those healthcare systems.
That's really kind of the shtick is that we can crack down on the smokers because they're making all of our lives miserable because they cost more money through the healthcare system.
Right, because they wind up getting lung cancer at higher rates and, cancer treatment, not cheap.
Yep.
People that wind up getting cirrhosis of the liver and other alcohol-related problems. Those things cost money in the healthcare system. And then the insurance companies, they want to make sure that they're actually making profits. So then what happens? Well, everybody's premiums go up. Right?
Yep.
Continuing on, the only problem with the argument, again, that these things need to be taxed to offset the cost, the only problem with the argument is that it's entirely gibbering nonsense. Unhealthy behaviors reduce costs to the healthcare system. If we are to accept the initial logic, then we should subsidize them, not tax them.
Oh, boy. Well, I'm not ready to do that.
The author says, we see it in my native UK over smoking, alcohol, and obesity. Rarely does a week go by without there being another report about how much this or that activity costs the NHS, and thus taxes must be raised. The NHS being the National Health Service. You've got it in the U.S. with the various people calling for taxes of high fructose corn syrup, sugar, empty calories, soda pop, and junk food.
Oh, there's already taxes on cigarettes, and alcohol is well taxed too. So, and don't forget marijuana. It's
right. And in some states, like New Hampshire, the government has a monopoly on selling certain alcohols. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
Now, there's no doubt that all of these are unhealthy behaviors, those being the high fructose corn syrup, the sugar, empty calories, junk food, smoking, etc., that do have costs. That's not an issue, or rather, that's not at issue. The major cost is, of course, to the imbiber, the smoker, or the lard bucket in the form of a shorter lifespan.
Who's he calling lard bucket?
People that are obese.
Oh.
He says, however, it's pretty much a given that in anything, even approximating to a free or liberal society, that consenting adults have to be left to make their own cost-benefit trade-offs.
And by the way, in Western cultures, they are consuming less and less of this stuff. Now, certainly there are taxes, sin taxes on them, so one might say that that's the reason. If cigarettes cost probably half the price is what they would cost if it wasn't for taxes, or more.
Depending on the state, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
There are some places where the tax, I can think of one state that's not too terribly far from us, New York, where the tax on a pack of cigarettes is about what a pack of cigarettes cost in New Hampshire.
Also, I know there's court rulings and stuff, and I couldn't speak to those precisely, but I get the impression that juries are a little more likely to rule against a cigarette company than a regular company because they're bad.
The article continues by asking the question, but what about these costs to the healthcare system? Well, the clue is in that shortened lifespan. Yes, certainly, there are costs to treating the diseases brought on by too much booze, tobacco, or food, but there are costs to treating all diseases, all modes and methods by which we might possibly reach that undoubted destination.
Everybody's going to die, and the question is which mode of death costs society more? And if you're going to tax a mode of death in order to prevent that particular mode of death, then by this logic, you should subsidize the modes, because we are currently subsidizing certain modes of death. We're saying, we're gonna give a little extra money to the production of vegetables or whatever out there. And look, that seems legit to me.
Well, one of the things mentioned earlier, high fructose corn syrup. There are all kinds of corn subsidies in the United States that incentivize people to make corn, that then incentivize companies like Coca-Cola and Pepsi to put high fructose corn syrup in the sodas instead of sugar.
That's true. There are these conflicting subsidies that are out there too. So in one hand, they subsidize the corn, on the other hand, they tax the soda.
Right. The question then are the cost of treating the illnesses and deaths brought on by these three indulgences, alcohol, tobacco and food, or the cost of treating these three indulgences higher or lower than the cost of treating those who live healthily but still inevitably die? We could argue it's either Alzheimer's costs more to manage than lung cancer, the cracked hips of age-related osteoporosis, perhaps more or less than fried livers for excessive bourbon. What we need to do is actually go out from top to bottom and look at the figures. This has been done, and we'll tell you about it. Plus your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
With uncertain times in the United States, it's only prudent to consider storing precious metals in a safe place outside our borders. At Miles Franklin, we have done just that for you. Partnered with the most respected storage company in the industry, Miles Franklin is proud to offer the only fully insured private safe deposit box program in North America, held in Vancouver and Toronto. Send us your previously purchased precious metals or have one of our brokers help you purchase something new. Questions? Please call one of our experienced brokers at 866-485-4346. Solid foundational storage, partnered with the most respected name in security. Maintaining an A-plus Better Business Bureau rating and residing in Minnesota, the only state in America that regulates the precious metals industry, making doing business in precious metals with Miles Franklin the safest choice. Call us at 866-485-4346. Again, that's 866-485-4346. Miles Franklin Limited, a name you can trust.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You can call in. You can talk about whatever you want here on this live edition of Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
Hashtag not all hobos.
Hashtag not all hobos, yeah. You, Jonny Ray, somewhere in that hashtag not all hobos thing. Because
I fit.
Yeah, you're wearing your sweatshirt inside out, and, you got a beard, and yeah.
I just now realized that the sweatshirt was inside out.
Yeah.
It's from a former employer, so I never wear it outside out because neither one of us wants to be associated with the other.
See, I thought maybe you had a coffee stain that you were hiding.
Not in that sweatshirt.
I got plenty of stains, but they're all soaked through, so no matter which side you wear it, you're going to see it.
Yeah, the Liberty Janitor. Check out freetalklive.com. We got an email list there. It's right there. Not when we're on the air. It's not on the front page because the front page changes when we're on the air. But the rest of the time, there's a little place to put in an email address, and then you can get the news of Free Talk Live, including the stations we add and events we're going to go to and new promos we put together and a whole variety of things. It's worth getting. I'm on the list, and when I get it, I'm like, oh, what's he undone? Look at that. And it's nice. So anyway, check it out at freetalklive.com. Sign up for the email list. Darryl, you were telling me that apparently I don't have to worry about the cost to society for my smoking, my drinking, and my overeating. Is that right?
That's basically what is being said here because, and let me sort of jump back a little bit, where it says that, all diseases have cost to being treated. That includes those brought on by too much booze, tobacco, or food. But the question then is, are the costs associated with treating booze, tobacco, and food-related illnesses and diseases higher than those of treating other things? And
we know
that you really need to, according to the Forbes article here, quote, what we need to do is actually go up and tot up the figures.
Todd up the figures?
Tot up.
Tot?
Total. Like tote, yeah.
I see. Totes. So I can tell you this. I know prior to Obamacare coming into play, essentially there was Medicare, and Medicare spent that and Medicaid spent 2/3 of the healthcare dollars. Basically, 2/3 of the spending in healthcare was through the government already. So we could presume that old people and their corresponding diseases are more costly than young people, even though there are fewer old people, right? So when you're talking about somebody who's 65 and older, how old can they get? 95, 85, somewhere in there. So call it a 20-year age bracket. There's a lot more people under 65 than there are over 65, but the healthcare dollars were going to the people over 65. And so this makes some sense to me is that essentially living longer is more costly.
Again, they say that this has been done where the figures have been totaled and they actually link over to something, but they have copied some of the text that says obesity is a major cause of morbidity and mortality and is associated with higher medical expenditures. It's been suggested that obesity prevention could result in cost savings. The objective of this study was to estimate the annual and lifetime medical costs attributed to obesity, to compare those to similar costs attributed to smoking, and discuss the implications for prevention. Although effective obesity prevention leads to a decrease in cost of obesity-related diseases, this decrease is offset by cost increases due to disease unrelated to obesity in life years gained. Obesity prevention may be an important and cost-effective way of improving public health, but it is not a cure for increased health expenditures.
I see.
So you're going to live longer, and then you're going to wind up getting hurt and sick and whatnot in various other ways. So they're saying there's not really any cost savings to the healthcare system.
Yeah, the author said it was nonsense. He seems pretty convinced.
Yeah. I guess really the answer is Soylent Green. When they reach a certain age, you turn them into food.
It is every citizen's final duty to report to the recycling tanks.
The actual numbers for lifetime from 20 years old medical cost were the lifetime cost in euros, healthy 281,000, obese 250,000, smokers 220,000.
So if you want to save society money on healthcare costs, go ahead and start smoking and eating.
That's kind of what it sounds like here. Continuing on.
I imagine you can that smoking probably offsets all the problems of drinking. My thought is that you see a lot of old drunks, you don't see a lot of old smokers. So probably you'll kill yourself more quickly with the smoking and go ahead and drink.
Who was
Why not?
Bob Hope? He smoked cigars until he was like 7 billion years old.
I think that was George Burns is who you're probably referring to.
All right. Well,
I'm sure Bob Hope's had a cigar or two.
They both, lived to be fairly ripe.
Yeah, I don't think you should use people on the television as your arbiter, plus cigars. Some people inhale them, some people don't.
I think George Burns got to the point where he was just chomping on a fresh cigar all the time.
And so what happens is with a cigar, you can get some of the nicotine just kind of by having it in your mouth. I've seen people who cut cigars up and use them essentially as dipping tobacco.
Okay.
Okay. I've heard that cigarettes are treated with more stuff that causes more cancer than cigars, so therefore it's better to smoke those. I am not making that assertion, although I believe it. But, none of those. I don't think that you can consume too many tobacco products for too long and expect your life to increase, right?
Right.
If you like it, you like it. If you don't do it, don't do it. For God's sake, don't start this as a habit. But most people started before 18, and they're not listening to talk radio.
So continuing on here, it says there are excellent arguments in favor of taxing in order to reduce the occurrence of smoking, excessive booze, and obesity. We humans are subject to hyperbolic discounting, not taking full account of long-distant future costs for current pleasures. Sometimes those running the public health systems really do know more than us.
So the pleasure they're talking about here is vegetables that's most costly?
They never mention vegetables.
But you live longer, you're more costly.
There are externalities associated with these behaviors. Late-night drunks, passive smoking, and the visual pollution of someone 300 pounds overweight,
Visual pollution? That's funny.
But the arguments we cannot use is that these behaviors increase the cost of health care. The reason we cannot use this argument is that it simply is not true. Those who die young save healthcare systems money. They don't cost them money.
I'd be willing to bet that drinkers probably die young in ways that aren't attributed to it. We had when I worked at a lifestyle magazine in Sarasota, Florida, one of our reporters was up late drinking on his cell phone out in his driveway, texting away with a girlfriend or whatever, passes out, leaning up against the neighbor's car. The neighbor comes out in the morning, gets in the car, turns it on, backs up out of the driveway, runs him over.
Wow.
And killed him. And the police say, this happens. It's unfortunate, but this isn't the first time we've seen this. And that's not going to be called an alcohol-related death.
Maybe, maybe not. If they find, he had alcohol in his system, it will be noted in the death thing.
But it's not going into this research.
Maybe not.
Because he was pretty cheap for the healthcare system.
I wasn't involved in doing this research, so I don't know what they tabulated.
I'm guessing.
The author here concludes, he says, thus, if we really are to accept the argument about taxes and the cost of healthcare, then we should really be subsidizing puffing, browsing, and sluicing, which isn't, I think you'll agree, what we usually get told about these things. Now, is it?
There you go. Buffets of cigars for everyone.
It's curious. It's fun to talk about, but the solution, of course, is just to get away from all of this kind of NHS-style thinking and that you need your government to run your health services for you, because there's a whole host of problems that come with that. The one that I'm thinking of is families having to spend some time and effort with your elderly parents is a kind of cementing action for our society. And when we just pass them off into the health industry, it's ugly and bleak.
I agree, but man, oh man, if you've taken care of an elderly person, it can be really, really difficult too. I can see why people at some point or another give up. I'd love to hear your stories on that. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, April 15th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.66 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,345 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $34, and the average price of Bitcoin is $8,349. Antiwar.com reports one big incentive that the United States may offer to North Korea during the upcoming summit is the possibility of opening an American embassy in Pyongyang, the first time the U.S. would have ever had such an embassy post. The summit, during which President Trump and Kim Jong-un will meet, is set for either May or early June, with officials insisting they won't give North Korea anything without permanent denuclearization. Officials are scrambling to find something they can offer as a confidence-building measure in the talks. Having an embassy, and by extension, formal diplomatic ties, would be a big upgrade in U.S. relations with North Korea. South Korean officials say such a move would happen if the summit is seen as a success. It would be a partial normalization, which would allow the U.S. to present it as something short of a full upgrade and yet offer the North Korean government a working-level contact with the United States on matters of diplomacy. The lack of formal diplomatic ties has greatly complicated diplomatic exchanges with North Korea in recent weeks, with much happening in unofficial talks through the New York office dealing with North Korean diplomats to the United Nations. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports President Donald Trump has promised to honor state decisions to legalize cannabis, ending a Colorado senator's holdup of Department of Justice nominees. U.S. Senator Cory Gardner of Colorado took issue with Attorney General Jeff Sessions' rescinding of the Cole Memorandum in January. With state laws in legalized cannabis states conflicting with federal laws, the Obama-era Cole Memo had essentially directed U.S. attorneys to treat cannabis businesses operating in clear and unambiguous compliance with state cannabis laws as a low-level enforcement priority. Gardner said in a statement on Friday that after the actions by Sessions, he decided to block all DOJ nominees pending a commitment from Trump that the policy change would not violate the rights of Colorado. Gardner in the statement said, since the campaign, Trump has consistently supported states' rights to decide for themselves how best to approach cannabis. Late Wednesday, I received a commitment from the president that the Department of Justice rescission of the Cole Memo will not impact Colorado's legal cannabis industry. Furthermore, President Trump has assured me that he will support a federalism-based legislative solution to fix the states' rights issue once and for all. Gardner added that he would lift his remaining holds on DOJ nominees and said he hopes to pass legislation to address the conflict between the state and federal cannabis laws. Gardner said, my colleagues and I are continuing to work diligently on bipartisan legislative solutions that can pass Congress and head to the president's desk to deliver on his campaign promise. Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports a powerful spring storm pummeled the U.S. Midwest and plains on Saturday with blizzard conditions and high winds, while tornadoes and thunderstorms menaced some of the South. Minnesota, Nebraska, Iowa, and South Dakota were under warnings for blizzard-like conditions. The city of St. Paul, Minnesota declared a snow emergency. Forecasters were expecting more than a foot of snow in parts of Michigan, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. The National Weather Service said wind gusts around Duluth, Minnesota had exceeded 50 miles per hour. As the storm pushed into Saturday evening, authorities warned that severe thunderstorms could bring gusting winds, flooding, and hail. Severe weather warnings extended from Texas to central Alabama, which was under a tornado watch. At least one tornado was reported near Jackson, Mississippi on Saturday. Freezing rain and ice storms were expected to move into northern New England through Monday. On Friday, the system produced 17 reports of tornadoes in Arkansas, Louisiana, Missouri, and Texas. 4 people were injured and 160 buildings damaged in a possible tornado in northwest Arkansas. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
On June 4th, 1919, a group of bold, passionate men took it upon themselves to pass the Women's Suffrage Act, finally granting women the right to vote that they were too frail and helpless to achieve on their own. Having long watched women struggle to stand up for their right to choose elected officials, the strong and capable men decided to intercede and aid their weak female counterparts. And on June 6, 1972, David Bowie's release of his concept album, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust, kick-started the glam rock genre and led to such spin-off trends as glam medicine, glam sports, and glamcatecture, all culminating in the 1976 presidential glam election. And that was what happened this week in history. In the words of French King John II, history will forever remember the great names of Alexander and Napoleon and Washington. But what about me, John II of France? I did stuff too.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You can call in and talk about it whatever you want. It's the live Sunday edition. It's with Mark,
Jonny Ray,
and Darryl.
And like I said, if it's between 7p and 10p Eastern Time, you can call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. Surely there's something that's been bouncing around in that brain of yours that you believe that needs to be shared with people all across America. Tens of thousands, potentially hundreds of thousands on a Sunday evening. Yeah, certainly. The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. It's always available, and always you can call in and talk about whatever you want. We just finished a story where apparently they debunked the notion that smoking, drinking, and eating too much costs the healthcare system more money. Apparently, it actually costs less. So you can save society money by enjoying the things that are going to kill you.
Or subsidizing that activity.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Right, and one thing that was interesting is the guy basically offered, the guy writing the article basically offered two positions of, we can either tax it or we can subsidize it. Here's an idea. How about you do neither of those things?
I think that was implicit, honestly, because nobody's going to subsidize cigarettes for poor folks or something. No, that's not going to happen.
Right. Everybody's going to reject the idea of subsidizing, but he doesn't actually say, just let people do what they want to do.
Understood, but honestly, if people are going to reject the notion, then you're left with, well, don't tax, then don't subsidize, then don't do anything. I mean, it is the only moral solution is to not do either.
Right. It just read to me like the guy was trying to centrally plan his version of some kind of something.
I didn't get that impression. I felt like it was a lampoon of central planning. But then again, that's me, and that's how I felt hearing it. It made, who knows what that guy was saying. You're right. The words that he wrote suggested that he actually was looking for subsidies. I don't think he really was. I mean,
right, and,
who could...
The Washington Post isn't known for publishing, or Forbes.
Yeah, Forbes
isn't known for publishing satire.
Yeah, that's true.
If it was the New Yorker.
But Forbes isn't known for publishing, articles looking for government subsidies either. Forbes is a pretty libertarian publication, at least the broad sense of the term, not the more narrow sense of the term. But, however, Jonny Ray, you brought in an article, and there's been this, I can never get the name of the spy that was poisoned in... Skripal in Great Britain. There's new news.
Yeah, he was a former Russian double agent who had been imprisoned in Russia, and then he was traded for some other spies years ago, and then... Over the past, a few weeks ago, he and his daughter were both found by some bystanders kind of staring at the sky, half conscious, and they had been, was determined that they'd been poisoned. The British authorities pointed the finger at Russia, saying basically that
the Cold War lives on.
That Putin was sending a message to any would-be traitors. But I heard, so the organization of from the Protection of Chemical Weapons, OPCW. I don't know if I have the acronym exactly right, but
they're getting a lot of news here recently.
They have. They were given a sample from the Brits, and they sent it to a Swiss lab to be analyzed.
Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons.
Thank you, Darryl. This story is from the New York Post. Moscow, Russia's foreign minister, says Moscow has received a document from a Swiss lab that analyzed the samples in the nerve agent poisoning of an ex-Russian spy, which points at a Western-designed nerve agent as a likely cause.
Interesting.
Yeah. Minister Sergei Lavrov said Saturday that Moscow received the confidential information from the laboratory in Spitz, Switzerland, that analyzed samples from the site of the March 4th poisoning of Sergei Skripal and his daughter in the English city of Salisbury. He said the analysis was done at the request of the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons. The OPCW's report confirmed British findings that the Skripals were poisoned with a military-grade nerve agent, but didn't say who was responsible. Britain has accused Russia of poisoning them with a Soviet-designed agent, an accusation that Moscow denies. When this story came out, I believed it. I considered that it could be, a false flag, and that people were just trying to gin up some hostility towards Russia for their own reasons. But it was too
convenient,
too conspiratorial for my mind.
Okay.
I try to reject that kind of thing. It's difficult these days.
Well, you never know which news story you're hearing and what is it. I mean, I agree with you. This is how I was thinking. Is just like, well, I heard this story on NPR, and what reason do they have to lie to me about this? And I hear them Russians bad folks and stuff. So, whatever.
I just think it's interesting that, whenever something happens, one of the first go-tos is the Russians must have done it. Donald Trump won the presidential election. Well, the Russians must have rigged the election.
It does seem like the Russians are getting lots of bad press these days. Yeah.
It's almost...
And by Russians, I mean the Russian government. I'm not talking about the Russian people.
Right. Hashtag not all Russian hobos.
Right.
But it's almost like somebody somewhere wants to perpetuate the Cold War that I thought ended almost 30 years ago.
Indeed. There's no doubt about it.
I heard an interview today on antiwar.com with an organic chemist who said that these poisons are not difficult to produce.
Okay.
And the fact that it's an old Russian recipe doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
Because anybody can still make them. But
yeah, it's also that's the other aspect of this is that people aren't going to spend any time thinking about it. All it is the news said, and the news for whatever reason isn't going to report this. They're not. They're not going to say, well, turns out that a Swiss lab in Spletz, or wherever it was,
Spitz,
has found out that, looks like it was a Western concoction, not a Russian concoction. So if we're going
they might put a tiny, tiny, tiny little correction notice on like page 4 that nobody's going to see.
Who reads newspapers?
Lavrov said the document indicated that the samples from Salisbury contained BZ nerve agent and its precursor. He said BZ was part of chemical arsenals of the U.S., Britain, and other NATO countries.
Why does NATO have chemical weapons arsenals?
I'm not sure if the U.S. is signatory to chemical weapons bans.
Oh, God.
Probably not.
While the Soviet Union and Russia never developed the agent. Lavrov added that the Swiss lab also pointed at the presence of the nerve agent A234 in the samples, which, from the context I'm given to understand, is more suggestive of the Russians, this A234.
So they're both there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Pointed at the presence of the nerve agent A234 in the samples, but added that the lab noted that its presence in the samples appeared strange given the substance's high volatility and the relatively long period between the poisoning and the sample taking.
Okay.
So if a chemical is highly volatile, then it will quickly react with its surroundings and turn into another chemical.
I see.
So the United States is a member of the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons.
So why do they have chemical weapons? Just to keep them? We just got these extras. We're not going to use them, though.
Yeah. Just like the nuclear, denuclear, whatever, something, the U.S., because something got grandfathered in, we can have all our nukes.
Yeah.
He noted that OPCW's report didn't contain any mention of BZ, adding that Russia will ask the chemical weapons watchdog for an explanation.
So does this change your mind on anything? Are the Russians now good people? Why was this, U.S. or NATO agent found there? 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live. What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
This is Darryl W. Perry, host of Free Talk Live. This November, I'll be running in the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, and I've accepted a spot on Team Innocence Project because I'm a passionate supporter of their work. Since 1989, 353 people in the United States have been exonerated by DNA testing, including 38 who pled guilty to crimes they did not commit, and 20 of whom served time on death row. The Innocence Project provided direct representation or critical assistance in 180 of these cases. With your help, the Innocence Project can help even more people who have been wrongly convicted. As part of Team Innocence Project, I'm raising awareness about wrongful convictions and raising funds to help free the innocent. I've already paid the race registration fees. However, to secure my spot on Team Innocence Project in the New York City Marathon, I need to raise $3,500 by November 1st. You can support the Innocence Project and help me secure my race entry by going to run.freetalklive.com. Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper, FPP News, at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You can call in, talk about whatever you want. We're talking about this Sergei Skripal. There's a couple of Sergeys in this story.
Sergei Lavrov is Russia's foreign minister who got insider information from a Swiss lab that had been analyzing the poisons used on Sergei Skripal, the spy.
I see. Well, speaking of insider information, it looks like this is speculation on my part, but I think Bitcoin might be moving again in an upward fashion. One of the suggestions was that it would do so after basically tax season because people had to liquidate some to pay their taxes or whatever the shtick was. I don't know. I couldn't tell you why it moves and why it doesn't move, but I can tell you that it has moved up about 25% in the last week. And that could mean more upward mobility for Bitcoin, which has certainly had a lot of upward mobility. And many people who watch Bitcoin are predicting very high highs in 2018. If you want to find out more about Bitcoin, the first place to go is Bitcoin.com. Because they've got the best news. They've got wallets. So if you want to get some Bitcoin, you have to have a wallet. They've got that. They've got mining pools. So if you want to get some Bitcoin and buy, doing some mining, you can do it that way. They've got ways to buy Bitcoin without mining. Whatever you need, they've got it at Bitcoin.com. Check them out. Longtime supporter of Free Talk Live, Bitcoin.com. Let's go to the phones here. We've got Joel calling in from Michigan. Joel, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello, it's Joel.
Hey, Joel. Hey, it says you're calling in from Upper Michigan, and we were arguing off air as to what that means. Does that mean you're an Ooper or not?
Yes, what they call Upper Michigan, we're Yoopers.
Okay, Yoopers.
Yooper, yeah, Yooper. So, because we're separated by Lower Michigan from the bridge, Mackinac Bridge.
That's Darryl's right, and there you go. I thought Upper Michigan meant the top of the glove, but in fact, you're up there in the dog someplace.
No, we're separated. Yeah, it's actually it's a peninsula.
And there's not very many people that live there, especially year round, right? I mean, there's 60,000 people population.
Yeah, there's a lot. There is, but there's fewer than if you compare it to Lower Michigan.
Yeah. Very interesting. What are you calling about, Joel?
Yes. In November of 2015, I was concerned about the Affordable Care Act, and I said, how can you fine us? I says, that's something like socialism, I says, this is the United States. So it took me 4 hours, and Part 1 of the Affordable Care Act, it actually says in Section 155 of Part 1 of the Affordable Care Act, freedom not to participate in federal health insurance programs. It says no individual, company, business, nonprofit entity, or health insurance issuer offering group or individual health insurance coverage shall be required to participate in any federal health insurance programs credited under this act, quotes, or any amendments made by this act, or in any federal health insurance program expanded by this act, or any such amendments, and there shall be no penalty or fine imposed upon any such issuer for choosing not to participate in such programs.
Well, they sure fined me.
Hold on. So what I have done is I have corresponded with our Senator Tom Casperson of Michigan, which is our representative for this area. And he actually was not a kind gentleman. He's very unhonorable, in my words.
Okay.
And so what I did was this, I actually put an ad last year, August 5th, 2017, in the Daily Press in Escanaba, Michigan.
Hold on, Joel. You're talking about Section 155 of the Affordable Care Act. That deals specifically with the exchanges. So the exchanges were things that were created through the PPACA.
What's that?
Patient Protection Affordable Care Act.
Okay.
And you're not required to participate in the exchange, but in the broader sense of PPACA, you are required to have health insurance. Not all health insurance is covered through the exchange. Some health insurance is covered through the exchange. So you're not penalized for not going through the exchange. You're being penalized for not having health insurance.
It doesn't, whether he's right or wrong, it's still the Congress critter should have been treated him appropriately.
Well, what I'd like to, if you could, I'll make it short, please.
Yeah,
I understand the radio program. So what I did is I did something about it, and this was August 5th. And a week after that, I went to the FBI office in Marquette, Michigan, and filed an investigation. My correspondence with Tom Casperson, this ad, and Joel Mosier, who I am, and who is Joel Mosier. And this is not a lie. This is not a joke, but I'm not here to get recognition. But I want to tell you and your listeners, I am the first person in the history of this world to scientifically discover how gravity works in the entire universe. And I have two forms of tangible evidence which substantiates my claim as a fact and not a theory.
That sounds like something for the internet. Do you have? I presume you've got a website for that, right?
It's on my YouTube.
Okay.
Everything's on my YouTube, but I have made my last 8 My 8th
I want to hear what
video on YouTube.
the FBI did. That's where I'm looking at.
I have not. It's wintertime. This was August, so
The FBI doesn't work during the winter?
In the next month or two, I will go up there and ask for a status on an update on the investigation. Yes.
Okay. Well, it's all very interesting.
So yeah, and so all matter is actually made of magnets. It's 2.
Matter is
It's
made
North
of
and
magnets?
South poles. Yep. And what causes gravity is the sun.
Hold on. How's that fit in with the PPACA, or are you just
this
like
is something new?
Well,
jumping
it's
to
actually
something
in my
different?
ad. I'll just say that. It was in the ad of the Affordable Care Act that I had in the Daily Press.
Okay.
I mean, there's more to it. It says, hello, blah, blah, my name. And you can see this, but, I'm not here directing it. That's it, folks. So,
Okay.
yes.
All
but
matters
I beg you
magnets?
kindly, I'm actually just called in about the Affordable Care Act.
Okay.
And
well, Joel, please keep us up to date on this. I think it's very interesting. Nonetheless, I want to find out what the FBI has to say about this. So thanks for the call.
Right, yes, but I did.
855-450-3733.
As I recall,
855-450-FREE.
There was a legal challenge in the nature of you can't force people to buy certain products.
Yes.
And the courts ruled that it was okay because they were calling it a tax.
That's right.
Right. And the interesting thing is, well, if it's a tax, and not that I think the Constitution's worth the toilet paper it's written on, but if it's to be considered a tax, then the PPACA should have originated in the House, not the Senate, because the Constitution says that taxes must originate in the House.
Interesting.
So they're having it both ways, kind of like states can't secede, but Virginia seceded, and then West Virginia seceded from the seceding state, so that's how West Virginia became a state.
You're right. I think that's very interesting. I wonder if somebody would take the case back and say, well, the Affordable Care Act needed to start in the House, not the Senate. Sorry. Very interesting.
You have no standing to bring that lawsuit. Dismissed.
Your call's coming up here on Free Talk Live. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here. And, well, I guess we could talk a little bit more about this Sergei Skripal guy. And, well, I don't know.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to goberkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. goberkey.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of a user's manual for the human experience.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. It's the live Sunday edition. You can call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
Darryl, today is the Boston Marathon. Does that make you happy or sad?
Today is not the Boston Marathon. Tomorrow is the Boston Marathon.
Okay.
And
Monday?
It's always a Monday.
They're shutting down the city of Boston on a Monday?
It's Patriots Day in Massachusetts. Everything is shut down tomorrow.
The hell is Patriots Day?
You're not a real New Englander, sir. If you do not know that Patriots Day is the day that commemorates the Battle of Lexington and Concord.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, why isn't that a national holiday?
Because it's not.
Okay.
There are enough of those. We don't need even more.
All right. Regional holiday. Not even familiar with that.
Yeah, it's a Massachusetts state holiday. Oh. It's when the American Revolution began. But yeah, I don't know, not happy, not unhappy about the Boston Marathon.
Because you're going to make it up at the New York Marathon.
I'm running the New York City Marathon, which is a bigger marathon. It's a more popular marathon. It's not older, though.
Geez, I'd have thought the Boston Marathon was more exclusive.
Not necessarily. They both have charity runners.
Okay.
And there's actually one of the people in one of the running clubs that I'm a member of that is a charity runner that will be running Boston tomorrow. There's somebody else that qualified because he's really, really fast.
And you're a charity runner. And
in the New York Marathon.
In the New York Marathon.
Yes.
And people can go support your charity, which is the Innocence Project at run.freetalklive.com.
Yes, and I need to raise a total of $3,500. I do have some matching funds that are still waiting to be claimed. So basically right now I'm sitting at about $900 and something away from the goal. Yep. So you can go run.freetalklive.com and your money will be matched.
Yeah, your charity dollar is doubled.
Yes.
I know because I'm helping a match at run.freetalklive.com. Let's go to Dave calling in from New Hampshire. Dave, you're on Free Talk Live. Dave. Darryl, have I pushed the right button?
I can't see which button you pushed.
Oh, I pushed another one. There you go, Dave. Dave,
Hello?
speak.
Hello?
Yep, sorry, my fault. Go ahead. What's on your mind?
Okay. So there's some good news, possibly. One of the former, still supporters of Ed and Elaine Brown has reported that he believes they may be freed.
Ed and Elaine Brown, the tax protesters here in New Hampshire that have probably been locked up for 10 years now after a holdout. It's hard to call it that. I mean, it's not like any shots were fired or anything like that. In northern New Hampshire, Plainfield.
Yes, Plainfield.
They might be released.
It's possible. This guy, his name is Keith Champagne, and I remembered him from the days of the standoff. He was always kind of a even-keeled voice, kind of credible character. He's moved to New Hampshire and signed the Free State Project letter of intent or something along those lines. And he emailed me the other day to let me know that because of this thing called the DiMaia case, which I took to be mostly an immigration case.
Okay.
He thinks a lot of federal prisoners will be freed, including Edna Lane Brown, or it's fairly possible.
Does he say on what grounds?
No, and I don't understand the DiMaia case. I don't know how that's connected to this, since it's an immigration case. But as with anything else, everything is about whether you're allowed to do things or not. It's either a crime or it's not. And a person on an immigration case is, accused by the federal government of violating some rule or another, just like Edna Lane were. So.
Well, I hope that that's the case. There's no particular reason why we want to keep these septuagenarians in prison and pay for their health care in there. They've got family, and they'd be better off if they'd be freed. I don't see how society is being helped by this.
I have quoted his whole email, or at least the part dealing with them, on the Ridley Report. So you can just go to my channel and listen to it if you want.
It's RidleyReport.com?
He also says that, yes, correct. He also says that this is less happy news. I guess they haven't. Ed and Elaine have not talked to each other in years.
They're probably being held in separate facilities.
But a husband and wife should be able to write each other.
Should be able to.
I got the impression it was more a matter of her being angry at him or them having some kind of a falling out.
Well, that certainly would be something for the rumor mill later on, but either way, whether they're together or apart or whatever the case may be, they're still better off released. I think everybody's better off released. No one benefits except maybe the Correctional Officers Union.
Right.
Correct.
There you go. Well, please keep us
probably,
up to date.
like the brother-in-law of the governor that runs a private prison that wound up getting a sweetheart contract.
You're right. Private prisons, they benefit too. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, because, a lot of those wind up having clauses written into their contracts of you guarantee that we will have 95% capacity.
Yeah, the prison industrial complex benefits. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. There you go. Dave, please keep us up to date on this. I'm interested in what's going on with Ed and Elaine Brown. This is all news to me.
Speaking of married couples and incarceration, did you guys on Free Talk Live talk about Winnie Mandela dying?
I don't think we talked about it, but I know it happened.
Yeah, she died, and she's been
lionized.
Thank you, lionized, hagyized. But she's a terrible person, and people should know, if you don't, that she.
Do you think she's worse than Nelson, or she seems to get more of the heat.
Well, he was in jail, so he wasn't. He was in jail during her murderous times.
I see.
So, maybe he was directing things from jail, but I don't think anybody is accusing him of that. But Winnie Mandela was at the forefront of the fight against apartheid, which is laudable, but unfortunately she murdered 14-year-olds along the way, and she endorsed the practice of necklacing. Are you guys familiar with necklacing?
Sounds bad.
No, I'm actually not. I didn't even know that Winnie Mandela had died. I didn't know that Nelson Mandela's wife was named Winnie, and I have never heard of necklacing.
Okay, well, she was fairly recently, after apartheid was beginning to end, I believe, she was speaking at a funeral, and she was quoted as saying, "With our boxes of matches and our necklaces, we will liberate this country." And necklacing is when you put a tire around somebody's neck and set it on fire.
Oh, my.
A tire filled with petroleum, petrol, according to the Wiki article. And I'm guessing petrol is either petroleum or gas?
It's gasoline.
Both of those things, yeah.
Okay.
Which is barbaric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, she had caused a couple of teenage boys who were from a rival liberation group.
Okay.
She had caused them to be abducted and taken to her house, where she was supposedly rescuing them from a sexual abuse situation, and she she had one of them had his throat slit because she accused him of being a police informant.
Okay.
And the others were beaten but not killed.
Huh.
So on NPR, you hear nothing but how
they don't do that. They just got Nelson Mandela songs they sing.
All right,
Yeah.
she might be described as controversial, but not
right.
that she endorsed having flaming tires used to kill people.
Indeed. Yeah, South Africa is a mess, and it's not going to be fixed for a long time. I mean, at this point, it's basically, if it's an all-out color war down there, and it's not a good place to be if you're not the right color, from what I can tell.
Right. In the current government, they're talking about seizing the whites' land.
Yeah, basically.
Seizing farmland. Yep.
And think about it. If the government says, if people in the government are saying it's a good idea to take these people's land, the value of your land has just cratered.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, you might hope to get 10 cents on the dollar or something, but take it and live would be my advice. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Then where do you go? Oh, no, we've got immigration laws to make sure you stay in your country. Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, the live Sunday edition. You can call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. We've got your calls coming up here. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
The number is 855-450-3733. Let's go straight to the phones here, Darryl, and we'll hop back into the stories here in a minute. Let's go to Dodger calling in from Michigan. I guess you're in the mitten on Michigan there, Dodger.
Yes.
Where in the mitten?
I wanted to the man.
Where in the mitten?
Lord, have you? It's southwest corner.
Okay.
Kalamazoo to be exact.
Gotcha.
But at either rate, I just wanted to clarify this. People from the UP call us trolls.
Trolls
because we live under the bridge.
Under the bridge. That's good stuff. Man,
aren't trolls supposed to ask interesting riddles?
No, that's a sphinx.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you go to the UP, on vacation because it's absolutely gorgeous.
It
place.
Is gorgeous up there.
And at either rate, people think of Michigan, they think of Detroit, and Michigan is far from Detroit.
No, it's a big, beautiful place.
Oh yeah, it is. But at either rate, all right, I live with my landlord / roommates. They rent me a room.
Uh-huh.
And all right, the wife has Alzheimer's. And what kind of prompted me, and I wasn't going to call until I heard the guy from the UP call earlier, and then I decided I'd call and clarify that. It costs, as long as he or I are there, almost nothing. She goes to her monthly or bi-monthly appointments. But I mean, this was kind of my complaint back in, 2010 when the ACA was passed.
Yeah.
And I thought the same thing that you guys brought up on the air. Geez, it seems like they want people to die sooner. And instead, they're trying to tell me that I can't smoke my cigarettes. I do all three of the things that
smoking and drinking and eating too much.
Well, I'm certainly not. I mean, I'm probably of average weight, but I certainly don't look at what I eat at.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I was blessed with good genes, but yeah, I drink, I smoke, and the thing is, I'm the perfect candidate for them to save money.
You're doing them a favor, indeed.
Well, and I thought the same thing. 8 years ago when it first got passed, it's like, why do they want us to live longer? It seems like it would be health savings. Now,
I think it's just behavior control. It's the ethics police. We've decided that this behavior is suboptimal behavior. We don't like it.
We know what is best for you.
And I gave up smoking around 2010 when Obama put the tax on cigars and rolled tobacco. And after a couple of years, I was fine. I guess they found out I used that Chantix drug that they had out there, and that was helpful. Made cigarettes basically taste like, or excuse me, cigars in my case, basically taste like mud. Thanks for the call, Dodger. Really appreciate it. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live.
I can say that smoking is one of the habits that I never did pick up.
It's probably best. Let's go to Matthew calling in from Louisiana. Matthew, where are you on the boot?
I'm in Metairie, Louisiana, basically the non-town right out on the Jefferson Parish side of Orleans Parish.
I see. So you're not too far from New Orleans.
By the toes.
No, we're not too far from the crazies. But at least we've elected a reasonably sane shogun to keep things under control.
You can you can go see the crazies on the weekend, so that's a nice distance.
Yeah, maybe I might want to go to the World War II Museum or the aquarium.
I haven't seen either of those.
The World War II Museum is absolutely worth seeing.
All right.
But it's hard to watch. It's hard to go through without tearing up.
Well, sure.
There's this organization called Wallet Hub, and we got a local talk show host. He's a nice guy, but he always brings up what Wallet Hub says about Louisiana. And we're at the bottom of every good list
and the top of every bad.
Top of every bad list. So I decided, let's check out Freedom in the 50 States and compare it to what Wallet Hub says.
Okay.
And surprisingly enough, Louisiana, we're kind of like right in that middle cluster. We're like number 27.
Okay.
But guess who is at the top of the Freedom list and at the top of the very good list and at the bottom of every bad list?
New Hampshire.
It would be New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Well, congrats, guys. I don't know if it's a cause and an effect, but I say y'all are doing it right.
Yeah, I would say that there may be some cause and effect. I don't know the answer. I would say that likely it's the fact that we're at the top median household income that probably makes for a better life. And the weather, the cold weather here drives folks southward. So, to some extent, it's just the ones that are the rugged individualists that stick around.
Right. Well, Maine also has very similar weather to us. They're number 42.
Yeah, Maine's not as optimal. Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah. So, y'all, yesterday's show and a little bit the day before, talking about this missile strike in Syria. As a guy who voted for Donald Trump, I didn't vote for this. I didn't vote for him to ban little pieces of plastic known as bump stocks.
Yep.
I didn't vote for him to ban online dating sites that aren't micromanaged down to the nth detail and interfere with the lives of swingers. Even though I'm not a swinger, I don't feel it's the government's business to interfere with them, supposedly to prevent sex trafficking, which, the information on the strike in Syria was brought to us by our intelligence sources, which were also the ones who sent us careening into a war in Iraq.
Indeed. You'd think they'd stop listening.
And they are also the ones who, not too long ago, were accusing Donald Trump of being a Russian spy.
So, Matthew,
why does he believe them now?
I'm left with this, just sort of the thing about voting here on this is I don't spend that much time on the air talking about for whom you should vote and for whom you shouldn't, because I think it's basically mathematically irrelevant. I didn't vote for Donald Trump, but if my only two choices had been Trump or Clinton and I was forced to go vote, I would have probably voted for Trump over Clinton. Just because that would have been my preference.
In the oil industry, you're stupid if you vote for a Republican. You're crazy if you vote for a Democrat.
Indeed, I can see the thing. But, I mean, ultimately, Louisiana had the amount of electoral votes that it had, and they weren't separated by one vote, or I'd have heard about it. So it didn't really matter, one whit for whom you voted. You could have voted for Clinton. The results would have been the same.
Right.
So. Yeah, I wouldn't have voted for Clinton.
I know. I hear you. Because you'd have been stupid too. Thanks for the call, Matt. Appreciate it.
Well, this Syria business is mostly it. My read of it is it's a subset of the larger conflict with Russia, and Hillary and her State Department caused all the turmoil in Ukraine, she was ready to step in and be the new neocon president and prosecute war against Russia.
Yeah, Hillary would have got her name if she'd got in office, because she was ready to fight a war against Russia. Absolutely. And you can see why Russia would want to be involved in, the United States' election. I always think to myself when people are like, Russia involvement in U.S. elections. Well, don't you think the United States has been involved in every Russian election that it could be involved in?
Probably, plus a bunch of elections in countries not named Russia.
Right.
And one of the things that strikes me as the most odd, that's proof, and I'm using air quotes there for those not looking at the webcam, twitch.lrn.fm, one of the pieces of proof is RT hosted presidential debates with Libertarians and Green Party candidates.
I don't know what the hell that has to do with anything.
That's proof that the Russians were meddling in the American election by hosting a debate with candidates that weren't Republicans and Democrats. Because Darryl was invited on RT America as part of a Libertarian presidential debate, I'm part of the Russians hacking the election or something.
Yeah, that's dumb. Dumb. What are
you know they've got nothing when the official charge for months is meddling.
855-450-3733. You want to tell me how Russia meddled in the election? 855-450-FREE. Explain it to me. Free Talk Live.
Marley Army just died.
I tried other brands, but I came back to my Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck or back or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
See why our homegrown small business at sunny-bay.com has tried to help people just like you. Get your Sunny Bay heating pads at sunny-bay.com. That's sunny-bay.com or call 253-678-1361 for hot and cold therapy. sunny-bay.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com. The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, April 15th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.66 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,345 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $34, and the average price of Bitcoin is $8,349. Antiwar.com reports one big incentive that the United States may offer to North Korea during the upcoming summit is the possibility of opening an American embassy in Pyongyang, the first time the U.S. would have ever had such an embassy post. The summit, during which President Trump and Kim Jong-un will meet, is set for either May or early June, with officials insisting they won't give North Korea anything without permanent denuclearization. Officials are scrambling to find something they can offer as a confidence-building measure in the talks. Having an embassy, and by extension formal diplomatic ties would be a big upgrade in U.S. relations with North Korea. South Korean officials say such a move would happen if the summit is seen as a success. It would be a partial normalization, which would allow the U.S. to present it as something short of a full upgrade and yet offer the North Korean government a working level contact with the United States on matters of diplomacy. The lack of formal diplomatic ties has greatly complicated diplomatic exchanges with North Korea in recent weeks, with much happening in unofficial talks through the New York office dealing with North Korean diplomats to the United Nations.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
UPI reports President Donald Trump has promised to honor state decisions to legalize cannabis, ending a Colorado senator's holdup of Department of Justice nominees. U.S. Senator Cory Gardner of Colorado took issue with Attorney General Jeff Sessions' rescinding of the Cole Memorandum in January. With state laws in legalized cannabis states conflicting with federal laws, the Obama-era Cole Memo had essentially directed U.S. attorneys to treat cannabis businesses operating in clear and unambiguous compliance with state cannabis laws as a low-level enforcement priority. Gardner said in a statement on Friday that after the actions by Sessions, he decided to block all DOJ nominees pending a commitment from Trump that the policy change would not violate the rights of Colorado. Gardner in the statement said, "Since the campaign, Trump has consistently supported states' rights to decide for themselves how best to approach cannabis. Late Wednesday, I received a commitment from the president that the Department of Justice rescission of the Cole Memo will not impact Colorado's legal cannabis industry. Furthermore, President Trump has assured me that he will support a federalism-based legislative solution to fix the states' rights issue once and for all." Gardner added that he would lift his remaining holds on DOJ nominees and said he hopes to pass legislation to address the conflict between the state and federal cannabis laws. Gardner said, "My colleagues and I are continuing to work diligently on bipartisan legislative solutions that can pass Congress and head to the president's desk to deliver on his campaign promise."
Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io.
Reuters reports a powerful spring storm pummeled the U.S. Midwest and plains on Saturday with blizzard conditions and high winds, while tornadoes and thunderstorms menaced some of the South. Minnesota, Nebraska, Iowa, and South Dakota were under warnings for blizzard-like conditions. The city of St. Paul, Minnesota declared a snow emergency. Forecasters were expecting more than a foot of snow in parts of Michigan, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. The National Weather Service said wind gusts around Duluth, Minnesota had exceeded 50 miles per hour. As the storm pushed into Saturday evening, authorities warned that severe thunderstorms could bring gusting winds, flooding, and hail. Severe weather warnings extended from Texas to central Alabama, which was under a tornado watch. At least one tornado was reported near Jackson, Mississippi on Saturday. Freezing rain and ice storms were expected to move into northern New England through Monday. On Friday, the system produced 17 reports of tornadoes in Arkansas, Louisiana, Missouri, and Texas. 4 people were injured and 160 buildings damaged in a possible tornado in northwest Arkansas. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Americans across the nation made their voices heard this week as they demanded more mind-blowing guitar solos. Calling for the solos to be, quote, face-meltingly cool and go on for well over 10 minutes, Americans stressed that all guitar solos from now on should be equally as kick-ass as those in Van Halen's Hot for Teacher and AC/DC's Thunderstruck, or even better.
It should start out really slow, you know, and then get faster and faster until they're all the way up at the top of the guitar neck and bending the notes like crazy, so it's like and then there's all this awesome pyrotechnic stuff going off in the background. They should all be like that.
And in this week's local news, a report noted that on its surface, Glenbrook, Ohio is a small town like any other, a peaceful all-American town. And yet, the report's authors added, if you only look closer, what you find may surprise you. In other news, a man is just having one of those decades where he doesn't feel like doing anything.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. It's the live Sunday edition. And if you're listening to us and it's between 7p and 10p Eastern Time, you can give us a call and talk about whatever is on your mind, as evidenced by the people who have done so in the last hour. And it was great. Thanks. The number is 855-450-3733. It is Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
And in the last hour, we were discussing this Sergei Skripal mystery that's going on. About half of the NATO countries have shaken their finger politically at Russia for killing or attempting to kill this guy, this former Soviet double agent Sergei Skripal,
and expelled Russian diplomats.
Yeah, and basically, all kinds of things have happened, and it's beginning to look a lot like a setup.
Well, I mean, the story that we have and the information that we have is coming from Sergei Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister. So people can say we're full of crap.
But he's saying it came from a Swiss, company that does these testings, right?
Yeah, he's saying that it comes from the Swiss lab that had samples given to them by the OPCW.
Then that would be easy to show that Lavrov is lying if he is. But I suspect what's going to happen is we're just not going to hear anything more about this case, and we're all going to think that Skripal was, killed by the Russians, when in fact it doesn't look like that.
Now there is the possibility that whatever chemical this was, maybe there were Russian origins pre-Soviet Union collapse, and the chemicals were kept by one of the former Soviet republics.
Sure. If it was a Russian chemical or a Soviet chemical, then it would be that much more damning. And that was certainly found, but it was found in quantities that made it look like a setup, as according to the Swiss company, according to Lavrov, according to the Swiss company. And so it's also looking like there was certainly a NATO chemical agent found also.
I've got another story from moderndiplomacy.eu. According to the report of the Swiss lab, this is the Schweizerisches Institut für Arbeitsschutz.
Yeah, that's why I'm not saying that. I'm saying Swiss lab.
The Swiss Institute for the Protection of Nuclear, Biological, and Chemical Weapons. According to the report of the Swiss lab, the poison found at Salisbury by OPCW investigators looking into the Skripal affair, there are traces of the toxic agent 3-quinculidinyl benzylate, that's BZ.
Okay.
And traces of A234 in its original form and in a concentration that would have killed the Skripals, not explaining the clinical picture of the Skripals. The clinical picture being that they were
not killed,
out of sorts, and still alive.
Right. So the suggestion here is that the Soviet agent was added afterwards to make sure that, we got to make sure they found this, whereas the NATO agent was probably in the quantities that did the damage. So if we're just going based on the origins of now, it's possible the Russians got a NATO agent and used it to poison this Sergei Skripal guy, but that's not the story we're hearing.
No, and if it's true that there is a lethal concentration, a high concentration of the Novichok on there, then that makes it all make no sense, because it's so volatile, and since it's been weeks since the attack occurred, it shouldn't still be present in that quantity.
Not in that form either. It should
and
have
they
changed
should be
to
dead.
an inert form. Yeah.
3-quinculidinyl benzylate was developed and weaponized in the 1960s as a new chemical agent for battlefield use as a psychochemical and assigned the NATO code agent BZ.
Wait a second. NATO was putting together battlefield agents, chemical agents in the 60s?
Sure, why not?
Okay. I was told we don't do that.
Oh.
Okay.
Agent BZ is like we don't torture. Agent BZ is a NATO nerve poisoning agent and a non-lethal chemical weapon that can render the enemy too irritable to fight, but have unpredictable effects. While non-fatal, Agent BZ causes a wide array of potentially incapacitating symptoms in its victims. Soldiers can become disoriented or even experience hallucinations, according to a U.S. Army manual from 1963 that can be obtained through the Freedom of Information Act. The incapacitating Agent BZ munitions give the commander a capability to apply a non-lethal force in selected situations, the document explains. Less than 1 milligram.
So it's intended to be non-lethal chemical agents?
Yeah.
Okay. That might be legit under whatever the rules are. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's it says later that it's similar to LSD. Less than one.
You can get high on it.
These things that you they're not called intoxicants for nothing, Darryl.
Right, but saying that this chemical agent that we think may have killed somebody, no, it's just like LSD.
Well, they're not saying it was a chemical agent intended to kill people. They're saying it was intended to disorient them, and they were disoriented.
Yeah, they were discovered on a park bench. I think Sergei Skripal was unconscious, and his daughter Yulia was, I think, disoriented and staring into the sky.
And they're both alive, right?
They're both alive.
Okay.
His daughter, Yulia Skripal, Russian television aired a phone conversation she supposedly had with her cousin, I think, where she said, "We're fine." The cousin said, "We want to come visit you." The sister said they'll never give you visas to do so. And, in fact, the British government has recently denied a visa for Yulia's cousin to come visit her.
I see.
Less than 1 milligram of BZ takes 30 to 60 minutes to act and can produce acute brain syndrome characterized by delirium lasting for 3 to 5 days, which can be reversed. Chemical agents that consistently produce changes in thought, perception, and mood without causing any major disturbances in the autonomic nervous system or other serious disability are classified as psychomimetic agents.
So I would say that based on the description there, it's not at all like LSD. Because LSD isn't going to affect you for 3 to 5 days.
Yeah,
but it could have
based
LSD
on
like
1
effects.
milligram.
It can. I think. Well, I definitely had a friend who used a lot of LSD. In one particular instance in college up in New York, we were living in North Carolina at the time. He got kicked out of school. And days later, I went to visit him, and we walked around, and he was out of it.
Yeah. I think everybody's got one story or another. I had a friend of mine tell me about a friend of his who was running from the police and decided to take all the hits of acid he had and eat them.
Yeah, that's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
And again, that's much more than 1 milligram.
Indeed. A drug can have LSD-like effects for 3 to 5 days. That doesn't. The duration isn't the only thing that describes the effect, Darryl.
The Skripal case, as well as the recent alleged use of chemical weapons by Russian ally Syria, has placed world focus on the use of chemical weapons, culminating in a Western missile strike on a series of targets in Syria.
And to some extent, it's probably true that Great Britain, France, and the United States decided to have this attack on Syria before it was proven that demonstrated that in fact it was Syria that had done this chemical weapons thing. If it was done at all.
There are allegations, but there's no proof.
But it might be wrapped up in this. Like there's this whole sort of thing, this anti-Russian thing that's going around. Not to say that Russia's a bunch of good guys with that takeover of the Charge Alert Brigade, whatever, that part of the Ukraine that they took over. I forgot. Crimea, that's right. The Crimean Peninsula there, they're just taking that over by the looks of it. I'm not saying they're good guys or anything, but it's and there was that plane that was shot out of the sky. But
well, my thought leaders are telling me that it's about the pipeline. They want to build a pipeline. The West wants to build a pipeline through Syria to get oil and energy to Europe, circumventing the current route, which goes through Russia and the Black Sea.
I see.
And that they've been all of this has been in the works for a long time.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Ovaltine. Give your kids the nutrition they need to be their best. Visit us at ovaltineusa.com. Telling your child about healthy food choices is important, but showing her what to eat goes a lot further. Have her help create the grocery list, then bring her to the store with you. Picking out healthy foods together helps kids get in the habit of thinking about what they're eating every day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
The number's 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. You know, if somebody brings their pillow with them, that they're, A, attached to their pillow, and B, they really believe that pillow's great. I take my pillow with me just about everywhere I go, and it is one of these branded My Pillows. And I love it. Not only does it hold my head and neck in the right position, but I had a pillow that did that before. I can wash this one so that it's not, teeming with whatever zoological nasties that I do not want to have in my pillow. That makes me really happy. And frankly, I haven't ever had a pillow that's this good, that has those two features, that holds my head and neck in the right position, and you can wash it. There's probably competition that's getting out there or whatever. I have no clue, but I can say that I love my pillow, and I so much so that I've bought this for family and friends for Christmas. I think it's a great pillow.
Jazzy the studio dog has a MyPillow.
Indeed, she does. She probably doesn't appreciate it as much as I do, but maybe she does. Maybe her old bones really do appreciate it. I couldn't tell you one way or the other. But Ian believes that she's worth it, and she is a really, really, really great animal. There's no doubt about it. And so if you love your dog as much as Ian loves his, MyPillow.com, code FTL will take you there, and you can get a dog pillow too. It's MyPillow.com, code FTL. You get 2 for 1.
Yep, human pillows 2 for 1, or half price on a single pillow if you don't need 2.
There you go, and I recommend it. With unabashedly recommend it. So there you go, Darryl. Apparently, hippies are really libertarian. What?
Yeah, there's an article here from Medium.com. What's that?
They're probably not voting libertarian.
Maybe, maybe not. Let's get into the article here. It says hippies are known for being the counterculture of the 1960s and being on the far left of politics. But are they really throwing their political support in the proper direction? I argue that instead of voting for the more socialist communist candidates, they really are and should be voting libertarian to be consistent with their ideals. Here are some key points to show where hippies and libertarians align. Number 1, anti-authoritarian.
They're that, yep.
It's no secret that both hippies and libertarians are for decentralized power and self-governance. The police state is another topic that goes under this category and brings those groups together. Number 2, free thought. Educating yourself to be free from the dogmas of the state and authority to create free people and influence real societal change. Number 3, and this is something that is very apropos at the moment, anti-war and non-intervention.
I was just thinking of the last one when you said, what was the real what?
Free thought. It allows people, by educating yourself about, dogmas and the state of authority, it allows you to influence real societal change.
I see. Real societal. Because when you could say real properly, but usually you say something like real. That's what I was thinking.
And that's assuming that hippies are free thinkers, and I think that I think of them as being fairly conformist and
to hippie thought.
Yeah, exactly. Not really free thinking, but just constrained by all of the cultural mores that that affect all of us.
I'll say that there are some people that use the libertarian label to describe themselves that they're not really free thinkers either. They just think the opposite of whatever they say.
Yeah.
Oh, the government says the earth is round, then it must be flat.
Indeed.
If you believe it's round, you're one of those globalists.
Yeah. I will say that I do not take the government's word for it that the earth is round, but I believe very thoroughly that it is.
Right, but the government also says it's round, so therefore you're believing the government. The National Weather Service says that it's going to snow tomorrow. If you believe that, then you're a shill for big government.
So, yeah, but I wear a seatbelt even though the government tells me that I should in 49 states. In New Hampshire, we believe adults can make that decision on their own,
right.
And we have a higher seatbelt compliance rate than some states that have laws.
Right.
So looks like your laws aren't working, folks.
Hippies believe in the media line of anthropocentric global warming.
Anthropogenic.
And thank you. Anthropogenic global warming, and that government solutions are the solution.
In some cases, they do. I would think if you said hippies believe, then you would say in global warming and government solutions for it. I don't obviously think that every hippie thinks that, or maybe even majority, but the stereotypical one does.
I believe that, the globe is getting warmer. I don't think that all of that is man-made. So would I be someone who believes in global warming because I know that there used to be an ice age and now there's not an ice age?
I would say even if you believe in anthropogenic global warming, and I do, I think that the models show that increases of carbon dioxide create warmer temperatures, that not everything about that is necessarily true, but at the same time, so what? Science will probably solve the problem, and government would only make it worse. At this point, what we can see by deduction is that the problems that government attempts to solve, they generally make worse.
Right.
So why would you put these organizations in charge of solving this problem? I mean, yes, maybe there's a problem. I think there is, but I'm not going to, force another person. I'm not going to have that argument because I'm not qualified to have the argument as to whether or not it's true or not. But I tend to believe that it is, and even if it is, the last people I would want solving that problem, the very last, like really. I would rather put a troop of brownies in charge of solving global warming than I would the government.
Oh God, government agencies and their cronies in the free sector are the worst polluters you can find. The burn pits, the military's burn pits they're just causing cancer just by being near them. It's not even a matter of a 50-year deal. They're destroying the world, and they're blowing it up with bombs.
And, oil companies have a heck of a lot more say in what the government does than I do. So why in the world would you expect me to tell the government to solve this problem that supposedly oil companies are creating? Come on, really? I mean, these government agents are bought and paid for. If you allow them to come up with a solution, that solution is not going to harm those who are wealthy and influential. Really, it's not.
And speaking of blowing things up, hippies are anti-war. Whether it's modern libertarians against more intervention in the Middle East or the hippies of the 1960s against meddling in Vietnam, the principle is the same. It's the concept of, if it's not directly affecting us, why are we imposing our authority in those areas? There are more on this list.
It's because hippies from the 60s were, more government oriented. They were a lot more socialist than they are now. The number, 855-450-3733, Free Talk Live.
It's a no-brainer. A Big Berkey water filter is the one you need, period. You need a water filter that removes chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, BPA, and other endocrine disruptors, pesticides, bacteria, viruses, and much more, right? And does it all at only 2 cents per gallon. Get the original and most trusted name in gravity water filtration, Big Berkey. And now GCN listeners receive 5% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN. Call or click 1-877-99-BERKEY or BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY.
Face it, today's electric power grid is more vulnerable than ever. From natural disasters to EMP attacks and hacking, the grid could be crippled for days or even decades in the most dire scenarios. Visit quantumharvest.net to see our built-to-last EMP-protected solar power systems. While millions suffer, you'll have vital power for water pumps, refrigeration, and sanitation. Now that's peace of mind. EMP-protected solar power systems for every need and budget. See our full range at quantumharvest.net.
It's the Onion Radio News. Hager physicists have created quantum slacks. This is Doyle Redland reporting. The stunning announcement that a team of Hager physicists has successfully developed quantum slacks was made this morning at a press conference in Philadelphia. According to Dr. Daniel Chang, head of the Hager team, conventional notions about the physical properties and possibilities of slacks have been turned on their heads.
We are on the verge of unzipping the secrets of creation and peering into the pants of God himself.
It appears the very fabric of the universe may well be a smart cotton twill weave.
However, Chang urged caution in further research after tests conducted last month at the Hager-Pants Propulsion Collider Laboratory in Dallas suggested the possible existence of so-called anti-pants, which could, in theory, initiate a chain reaction resulting in no pants at all. Doyle Redland for The Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is The Onion News Network.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can call in and talk about what you'd like to talk about here on Free Talk Live, but we're talking about how hippies are really libertarian. That kind of ties in with the name of Zencash. So Bitcoin was great technology when it came out in 2009, and blockchain tech is being adopted in industries around the world. But when it comes to currency transactions, you don't always want your transactions on public display for everyone to see. That's why Zencash is so great. It has a privacy option for transactions and messaging using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash has more than 8,000 secure nodes, making it one of the most secure networks of any cryptocurrency. We're proud on Free Talk Live to endorse Zencash. And for those of you who bought a couple of weeks ago when I said to buy, you're welcome, because it has basically doubled in value against Bitcoin. And Zencash was made by voluntarists with the idea of voluntary interaction being embedded in their white paper. Zencash is better tech than their competition. Learn more at zencash.com. It's zencash.com. I think it's great tech, and I like it very much. So you have some more points that prove that hippies are libertarian, Darryl, and just don't know it.
Well, I don't know if it necessarily says this proves that they're libertarian. It suggests that they might be, and here are some points to make that argument.
The funny thing is that if you ask people if they're libertarian, the statistics say that some small percentage of Americans will identify that way. But if you ask them if they're fiscally conservative and socially liberal, the numbers go way up.
Right, somewhere around 20%.
If you begin to ask them even more questions, they'll fall into the libertarian quadrant on the Nolan chart, as it's called. This is the chart where it's not the left-right paradigm, but it includes authoritarian and libertarian.
It's a diamond shape.
Yeah, diamond shape with the libertarian and
two-dimensional as opposed to one-dimensional.
That's correct.
Correct.
And my wife had taken this at some fair or something like that before she met me, and she was just of the opinion everybody shows up libertarian because libertarians want people to be libertarian. I don't think that that's true. That by the sounds of it,
tell you that that's not true.
Yeah.
I've done what's called Operation Politically Homeless at different events, and there are people that score very close to the bottom.
Yep,
to where they want to control almost every aspect of everything that everybody does.
Indeed. And there are folks that just because it seems reasonable to you the way those questions are worded, and I know that there's should there be a draft, and there's a variety of questions, and they probably change over time.
And the quiz has changed a good bit over the last 20 years or so.
It needs to stay relevant.
And some people don't want to control other people, but they just want free stuff from the government, and they don't realize that there's no such thing as a free lunch. And if you start taking this free stuff like the National Health Service, then they're going to start dictating to you whether you can smoke or not and drink or not.
Right. So recapping the first 3 items on this list, hippies and libertarians, both anti-authoritarian. They both believe, according to the author here, believe in free thought, anti-war and non-interventionist. 4th item on the list where libertarians and hippies agree is drug policy. Both groups are comfortable with individuals making their own decisions whether they want to partake in this type of recreation. Both sides see benefits to it and are defiant to outlaw this and other substances. And finally, leave me aloneism. The concept that if you're not harming other people, you should be left alone is probably the main mantra of both groups. This would ultimately apply to most things and activities in a person's life. Sadly, in this country, you aren't actually free to do a lot of things. From farming on your land or sleeping in your car, how you raise your children, etc. There are restrictions so that it's either illegal, difficult, or expensive to do.
Yeah, the naturalist farmer Joel Salatin's, the name of his book is Everything I Want to Do is Illegal.
Both groups are supportive of people living as individuals or in collective units. Whether hippies seem to be misguided is that when they vote for socialist policies, they're voting against their anti-authoritarian position because socialism isn't a byproduct of free choice made by free people, but by centralized power deciding for others. This also applies to a lot of things. Hippies nowadays seem to favor legislation for this or that or the other, green energy, gay marriage, etc. None of that is free will and thus counter to their beliefs. In order for free-thinking societies to work, it's imperative to first educate yourself on what that means and vote accordingly.
Hear, hear. I tend to agree. Well, let's go to the phones. We've got Gene, the Christian anarchist, and he wants to school me on global warming. Go ahead, Gene.
Okay, Mark and guys. Yeah, first, besides the global warming issue, I do want to say something about the hippies because being an old hippie from the 60s, I would say that the hippies are generally libertarian, and I would back that up by simply putting the quote from the godfather of all hippies, Timothy Leary, who said, "Question authority, even mine." So questioning authority is something that is deep in the roots of hippies from way back, and although the social program thing is kind of a hook in their thigh that most hippies, I think, if they think about it, will realize that that's not the correct answer. But anyway, global warming.
Yes.
I wanted to say that global warming, I don't believe in. I don't think that there's any way that mankind can affect this planet. We are too small. We're little tiny fleas on the big skin of this planet. I even asked a friend of mine once when I was working at a university with the physics department, and there was this guy there who was a whole lot smarter than I could ever claim to be, because I can't run these numbers. I don't know how. But I asked him, I said, let's say we took the entire planet's known reserves of fossil fuel, whatever those known reserves are. Let's say we burn it all in a year, And we don't even try to burn it cleanly. We try to burn it as filthy and dirty as we can and make as much pollution as is possible to make with that fuel in 1 year. I said, would it really put that much pollution into the atmosphere to make a difference? He worked on that for about a week, just kind of thinking about it and going over the numbers or whatever. After a week, he came back to me and he said, no, I don't think so. It's not going to make a big difference. A huge volcanic eruption makes way more difference in the atmosphere than even if we burned the entire fossil fuel reserves in 1 year span. So I think
I would ask this question. Is if you burned it cleanly, would it make a difference? Because particulate matter in the atmosphere, as evidenced by these volcanic eruptions, particulate matter can actually cool the globe. One thing's for certain is that Venus is very, very hot, and the reason it's hot is because of the gases that are on it, and that Mars is quite cool.
And when were you last on Venus and measured these gases?
Oh, I know they've sent things to Venus and things. I have to believe scientists at some point, and Venus.
Yeah, every time, Mark. I've been around for a while. Every time a 20-year span goes by, they change their story. So
that much I'm willing to agree with, is the story keeps on changing, and that the simple fact that carbon being released in the atmosphere may or may not affect global temperatures by a degree or two. That doesn't mean that there won't be some kind of global cooling, which is a suggestion that's happening now, is that we may be moving into a time in the Earth's evolution that is going to cool a little bit, and so maybe they'll offset each other.
By carbon, we're talking CO2. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. CO2. When I was in grade school back in the '60s, we learned about something called the oxygen cycle, which
hold on, Gene.
CO2 is
tell me about the oxygen cycle here in a second. Okay, hold the line. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Fact. The new NSA data center in Utah requires 1.7 million gallons of water every single day to operate. Billions of Fourth Amendment violations need massive computers and the water to cool them. That water is being supplied by the state of Utah. Fact. There's absolutely nothing in the Constitution which requires your state to help the feds violate your rights. Our message to Utah: turn it off. No water equals no NSA data center. Visit offnow.org.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. It's the final segment here of this live Sunday edition of Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
I want to tell you about the AMP program, where you can go to amp.freetalklive.com if you like what we do, which is singular and unique among radio programs in America. We bring the ideas of liberty to people on 182 radio stations, hundreds of thousands of people per week, and you can support that by simply going to amp.freetalklive.com. I believe it's the best use of your sort of liberty-oriented charitable dollar. It's amp.freetalklive.com. Let's go back to Gene, the Christian anarchist. He's going to tell us about the oxygen cycle and how that has to do with global warming. Gene, you're back on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, well, back when I was in school, we had these neat little diagrams that showed how the plants and the animals have this symbiotic relationship where animals exhale CO2 and plants breathe the CO2 in and exhale oxygen, and everything is just peachy keen because we keep each other happy. And as it turns out, if you want your plants green, you put them in a greenhouse, and what do you put in there? CO2.
Yeah, I have seen that, in fact, increasing the amount of CO2, that they're not taking into account the increased plant growth as a result in the models, and that would mitigate some of the global warming as the global climate change. And I believe that also to be true, that we don't really know, but again, we don't really know.
Right, and a lot of this, I wonder if, maybe looking at the micro versus macro scale might wind up, having different interpretations, because we know that in, western states where they divert water from the Colorado River so that some guy in Palm Springs can have a golf course and a farm, you then have less water going into Lake Mead and less water that can then be used further down river. So that does wind up affecting the climate, but that's at a micro scale. Now the question is, does the butterfly effect kick in, and then that winds up changing something somewhere else?
Historically, I've been told by people that study ice ages and all that kind of things. Again, I'm not smart enough to do all this stuff. I have to rely on other people. But scientists have said that in the past, CO2 levels have been way higher than now, like 10 times higher than what they are currently. So if the planet survived CO2 levels 10 times higher than they are now, we can certainly survive a couple percentage points. This spraining at a gnat is just crazy. A couple percentage points is not going to change the planet. It just can't.
Well, I mean, it would change it if it was a couple of percentage points, but difficult to know exactly.
I don't think it will. I think
we can see that
the planet is a self-correcting system.
We see that the Northwest Passage is open now, right? Like there's boats going north of Canada that have never gone in our lifetimes. Something's changed, and that would presumably be that.
Yeah, it's called the weather. The weather always changes. It's been changing for 50,000 years. We're not doing it.
Well,
it's part of the natural cycle on the planet.
That's the other argument, right? And I don't know the answer. All I can say is that the folks that make a living doing this stuff, and there's new climate scientists out there, there's a whole new career for people, and that career says that, it's people. And how do I, as a talk show host, as the jack of all trades that I am?
We've had global warming spells like 500 years ago, 800 years ago. There's been all kinds of global warming spells, and they weren't caused by industry because we didn't have industry 500 years ago, 800 years ago, whenever they were.
Certainly an argument to be had, but, that if we had those global warming spells, it's possible that releasing more CO2 would then cause it would be a greenhouse gas that would cause more heat to be retained. I don't know the answer, Gene. All I can say is that at some point or another, I have to accept the word of experts or not. And at this
or not, I think is the key.
Yeah, or not. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it, Gene. Bye-bye.
Sure.
And that's the thing about Free Talk Live is you can call in and disagree. He made his points. And that's the idea, right? Like the simple fact that he can't convince me because, well, I've got my opinion doesn't mean that he hasn't convinced other people. Right. And that's what the opportunity is here on Free Talk Live.
Have you guys heard of the Lake Nyos disaster?
No.
It's a lake in northwestern Cameroon.
Okay.
And it had sequestered an incredible amount of CO2 inside it.
All right.
And then somehow at the bottom of the lake there was some kind of disturbance, and all of the CO2 started gassing out. And this lake, I think, was like a volcanic lake, and maybe that's where the CO2 came from underneath.
Yep.
And the CO2 just came out of the lake like a giant invisible blob and rolled down the mountain and engulfed a village and killed everybody inside it.
Amazing.
Isn't that nightmarish?
Wow. Just killed by a gas.
Yeah, CO2.
Crazy. Let's go to Sarah calling from New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live.
So our new mayor, he just signed.
Who's what? Who? What? I don't have your mayor. I'm sure.
Yeah, my mayor. We have a new mayor.
Who's we?
He just signed.
Sarah, you have to understand. This is a nationally syndicated radio program, and the people who are hearing you don't know where you're calling from. I said Sarah from New Mexico, not Sarah from Albuquerque. So.
Okay, my point is that he signed the legalization of small amounts of marijuana.
Good.
He happens to be Albuquerque Democratic mayor, so it does matter when you cross political lines. He's making a difference right now. Complete.
Hold on, how's he crossing political lines?
Well, the last one was a Republican. He vetoed this same bill. And then now this one is a Democrat, Tim Keller. He has
right, but that's not the mayor crossing political lines. If a different guy got
she's
elected
talking about
from
voting.
A different
it matters
party.
who you vote for. Is what she's trying to say, Darryl. And I'll tell you, here in New Hampshire, we had a Democratic governor who vetoed marijuana decriminalization, and a Republican that voted for that allowed it to pass through. So. Right. Yes, it does matter for whom you vote, but no, it doesn't matter which party they're in necessarily, Sarah.
Well, okay, that's kind of very peculiar. So now it's only $25 if they catch you with 1 ounce.
Okay, so that would be decrim, not legalization.
Well, yeah, something.
Well, I mean, it's a decriminalization, right? It lessens the penalty. So I'm hoping that we might get our red light cameras back with this mayor. Because he's doing everything totally flipped around from the last mayor.
So you want the freedom to smoke marijuana, for people to have this freedom to smoke marijuana, but you don't want them to have, these red light cameras, which have been demonstrated to cause increase traffic accidents and fatalities.
Yeah, run red lights and then run people over and run off. Yeah, that's the kind of freedom that you're talking about.
Sarah thinks that without red light cameras, everybody just runs red lights and tries to hit pedestrians like they're playing Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. Sarah, there's research on this.
And we've presented her the research multiple times, and she just either ignores it or doesn't remember it or something. But no matter how many times we tell Sarah facts, she doesn't care.
So they just ran over somebody and hit and ran at 3 o'clock in the morning. Our pedestrian fatality.
What are pedestrians doing? Who was on the road at 3 o'clock in the morning, Sarah?
I have no idea. Drunk drivers.
Hobos.
I have no idea, but they just run
Not all
people over
hobos.
and they keep on going.
Yep.
You know what? This is New Mexico. This is not New Hampshire.
Not all Klingon
we're
Mexico.
a different state.
Hobos.
You guys are the blue state.
We're not blue.
Civilized state.
We're a purple state, Sarah. We're a purple state. Purple and blue are different colors, Sarah.
Especially in the political spectrum.
So I don't know. We might get those back, I hope. I call the mayor like
Thanks for the
every
call,
other
Sarah.
week.
Appreciate it. Sarah on her her one-woman war to bring back.
And I love how she was able to turn the mayor-signed cannabis decrim into red light cameras.
Yeah. There you go.
You want to know the difference between drunk drivers and stoned drivers?
What's the difference?
Stoned drivers sit at a stop sign waiting on it to turn green.
Yeah.
Drunk drivers think they're fine to drive and then wind up, running over pedestrians.
The evidence is that, although I will not support the idea of stoned people driving, the evidence is that stoned people are much better drivers than drunk people.
They're also much better at recognizing I should not be driving.
Yeah.
There was a TV station that did some kind of experiment, and the stoned people said, I shouldn't be driving. Doesn't matter. The experiment says you must. We're on a closed course. Get in the car and drive.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Check us out in the meantime at freetalklive.com. It's been Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl. We'll be back tomorrow, as we are all 7 nights of the week.
Join me. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you